Hello, this is Amanda Bilchinsky, and I'm going to show you how to write your theories paper. So the theories paper is all about applying the three major theories that you learned about for Module 2 into your job. Now, notice I say it's the job, not you personally. This is not a paper about you. It's about the job itself, which is why you have your theories worksheet paper that we were filling out. So in order to write this paper, there are roughly 7 paragraphs that you're going to have. Now, the first one is just the introduction. This should be 2 sentences only. What is your job? So, I'm a waitress at 311. I'm a cook at Red Lobster. I'm a cashier at Walmart. Now, whatever your job is, you're just going to explain what the job is and where you work. Then, what will this paper examine? So this paper is about the 3 theories, so that's what you will say. This paper will examine how the role of a waitress and how it would be analyzed based on functionalism, conflict theory, and symbolic interactionism. Just something like that. Showing that it's going to be about those 3 theories and it's going to be related to your job. So the first paragraph for the body, paragraph 2, is the overall functionalism. So this is part 1 of that theories worksheet. So what you're going to see is there's an obvious pattern that goes to this on how you're going to write the paper. So first off, what is the topic of this paragraph? So here's your topic right here. Overall functionalism. So just write in a sentence related to the job. So overall functionalism can be analyzed for the job of a waitress. Or a waitress can be applied to the study of functionalism. Something that just shows it's going to connect the two. Step 2 is define the theory. So what is the theory? Make sure you write this in your own words. Remember, not putting it in your own words, copying from the PowerPoint, from the lecture, or from the book, or even from a website, is plagiarism, and you will get an automatic 0 on this big paper. Put everything in your own words, because that's also showing that you understand what it is. So just define functionalism in your own words. Then go to your theories worksheet. Who were the overall roles you said were the components of your workplace? So like at Edison or any college, you have the deans, the teachers, the students, the VPs, the financial aid specialists, college resource specialists, the cashiers, all those. Who did you say were the components? List them. Then explain how they work. So like at 311 downtown, if you're a waitress there. Without waitresses, there would be no one to give customers their food and drinks. However, if there was no cook, there would be no one to cook the food, so you need a cook to cook the food, for the waitress to serve the food to the customers, for the customers to pay, in order to have the managers pay everybody else. Explain how each one has a specific role. Next paragraph, you go to the next part of your worksheet. Manifest functions to lane functions. So same thing, start off, what is the topic? So a waitress has both manifest and lane functions. Just something like that. Something that states what this paragraph's about. Then that little section like we did for that first one, what is the term? Give your examples and explain them. That's what you're going to do for every single one. So list your what is manifest functions? Define it in your own words. List what your manifest functions are and explain how you doing your job helps the business. Then what about the lane functions? What is lane functions? List your lane function and explain how it helps the business and what the consequence of you doing somebody else's work is. And what is the consequence on you? Then you'll continue to do the same for each section. So now we move to the conflict theory. So what is the topic of this paper or of this paragraph? The topic is the conflict theory, and the focus is the job. So like everyone else, you can also see the conflict theory in the job of a waitress. That's it. Then what is the theory? Define the theory in your own words. So what is conflict theory? And list the overall conflict from your theories worksheet. How did your job, or what is the conflict between you and somebody in a different position as you? So what was one that you came up with? And explain how it's a conflict. Then you'll do the same thing with the others in the same position as you. What is the similarity or a conflict between someone who's the same position as you, and no matter where it is? So if you're a babysitter, what is the difference between you and another babysitter who's older or works daycare, whatever, and explain it. Then you'll do the same thing for the rest. So competing interests. What is the topic of the paragraph? You can also see competing interest in the job of a waitress, whatever. What is the term? Define competing interest in your own words. Then write the competing interest from your worksheet and explain why it's a clash. So symbolic. Going to the next paragraph. You'll do the same thing. What is the topic? What is the theory? And explain how this can meet your workplace. This one's a little bit different because this isn't a macro. So once you explain what exactly symbolic is, how does your workplace fit in? So how does your workplace a good place to examine the basic interactions of a social world? Basically, that's all you're going to explain. And explain how part of it is the social construction. What is that? What is a social construction? And list. And then after you've defined it in your own words, list it. What was the social construction, those 2 sentences from your worksheet? What is it? And explain your language. What was the language terminology that your job must know? Then for the last paragraph, you're going to go for the dramaturgical analysis. So the dramaturgical analysis can also be part of this symbolic interactionism discussion. What is the dramaturgical theory? And explain the props you need and how it helps prove that you're performing a job. Once you get to the end, you are going to conclude. Now, the point of a conclusion is to prove that your thesis was met. So your thesis is this right here, that your job can be analyzed based on the 3 theories. So the best way to do this, for each of those 6 the paragraphs, so paragraph 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, write 1 sentence on how each one proves that your job can be analyzed. So the fact that everyone has a specific job to do in order to make sure that the job can function properly proves that our overall business does have functionalism. Also, with the fact that I have specific jobs to do, such as blah, 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 and that if people don't do their jobs, I need to step in order to do them for them, helps with the functionalism overall of the business. We can also see the conflict theory in the job for the fact that managers make more than the workers, and even those who have been there longer make more than new people. Just summing up whatever you said for this one. There is also competing interest within this job because of the fact that you're just summing up each paragraph in 1 sentence. Once you're done, make sure you spell check and proofread, because remember, 25% of the grade is, do you have an organization? Which, if you have used this and you are following this to the T, that's going to help get you that organization and clarity. Then also, the spell checking and proofreading. That's another 10%. So make sure that you do go through it very thoroughly. Do you have good grammar? Do you have good spelling? Then also making sure that you did this. These part 2s where you are defining the terms and then listing them, that is actually a huge part of the do you use vocabulary and do you explain what they are. So that's what is actually there to meet that. Because if you are defining them, you are going to do very well on that spot. The actual application, all the examples and explanations of how it works, so whenever you list and explain, that's what's helping to go for the other 75% as well. So as long as you follow this, you are going to be golden for this paper. So if you have any other questions, feel free to contact your instructor.